And I will start with REMA. And REMA is the Rwanda Environment Management Agency, or the authority that normally oversees the environmental side of it. And as a program manager for environmental mainstreaming and biodiversity conservation, would you please tell us more on how REMA engages with other institutions, government institutions, private sector, to ensure this ESG component is embedded into their day-to-day planning?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I think, as you mentioned, if we are starting by the mandate of REMA, so we are in charge of supervising, monitoring, overseeing, coordinating all environmental related issues and climate change. I can say that we are engaging our stakeholders, different partners, maybe in the 3 categories. One, we have the part of mainstreaming the environmental related and the climate change related attention in the national policy, national planning. And for now, maybe Rhoda will explain more how now environmental was scattered in the national planning process. Second is about the different policy that are developed, the regulations, where you do understand that environment is cross-cutting. So we are trying to really engage all stakeholders in our regulation, in their regulation, how they can really think or also integrate the environmental and climate change issue. So maybe I'm saying environment, but environment is always people and animal, plants, and also the natural resources. So that's second category where we are involving the stakeholders. So also the government has set some policy like environmental and social impact assessment, where before you start any investment, project development, you need to conduct this kind of assessment to see how your project will impact to the environment, also will impact the local community, the people in general, and the world. So from this, maybe this assignment is where we get some challenges. Maybe I will come back to this. But we are engaging all stakeholders. We are conducting public consultant from the local community, Umuturage, there, where the project will be implemented, to the institution in charge, also including other stakeholders that are involved in that project. So including RDB, including Rwanda Water Mining, and other institutions, and partners, NGOs, all those private sector are really involved and are consulted during the development of the project. So other category is where we have our regular inspection. There is a regular joint inspection first, where all related or institution in charge, they are involved in conducting the inspection from different activities, mining, inspection of the compliance to the regulation regarding the wetland, the water use, the housing, different activities. So we have those joint inspection, but also we have a department in charge as an institution in charge of compliance. Also, we have the regular, the daily inspection to check really if people they are complying to the environmental and the social impact assessment they have been conducted, if they are complying to the management plan that they are having. So I come to the issue where maybe the issue comes where we need an action to be taken. So if it comes to the inspection and to the enforcement of the regulation, so people, they need to comply to the regulation. So specifically in mining, we have really identified different environmental and social issues, so which including the illegal mining, there is also the abandoned minings, there is people that are not really taking care on safety and the health of their workers. There is some mining working in closely to the neighborhood, to the local community. We have this washing water that are channeled in the water bodies. They are polluting water bodies. They are polluting the wetlands that are used by people. So if it comes here, so now the thing's starting to be somehow challenging. Now REMA is here, but it is not REMA. It is all institution. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll come back to you. The good thing here, we've got mining companies here present.
Yeah, sure.
And REMA, I think mining companies are very good friends of REMA these days. There is, I think friendship is coming up because of these initiatives that have been put in place. But I'll come back to you on, especially on issues. But before that, I'll go to climate change. Mining statistics tells us that around 8% of the emissions, carbon emissions, are coming from mining sector. It looks quite small compared to other emitters, but mining as itself says that. But we couldn't say it's okay. We should just keep quiet and say it's fine. And from civil society organization perspective, how do you ensure that this aspect of climate change is actually also, just like ESG, how do you ensure, how do you come down and ensure that companies understand the impact, the severity of the impact, and help them move into integration, into planning of their projects and considering the climate change issues from a climate change network perspective?
Thank you so much. Before I go into your question, I would simply make a comment. There was a video that was setting stage for this panel. Sure. And when I was looking at the video, I started asking my mind how ridiculous I'm going to be. Because from the civil society point of view, we normally point to where things are not working best. And I was looking at the good work that is being done in the mining week, and I would ask my question, am I not going to make it a bad mining week for the CEO and possibly be taken negatively for that? But yet, because I'm doing this, I have to say this. One, like my colleague from Lima has been saying, we are in a day and a time when climate change is being discussed both nationally and in the international forum. And as you put it right, it contributes to around 7% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, which you may think is small, but it is bigger than the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted by the entire continent of Africa. So if we've been directed as Africans to mitigate climate change, and we are just contributing 4% to the global emissions, then mining should even try to emit much more, because they are contributing to over 8%, which is double the amount of what the entire continent is contributing. That shows you how significant the amount is. But I want to tell you that when you look at the mining, we did, as RCC, then we did an analysis of how the mining policy of 2010 was actually talking to our environment and climate change policy of 2019, and we realized that there were a lot of gaps. But the good story was that the environmental policy and the mining, the mining law and the environmental law, we are talking to one another. Mm-hmm. So you would at least from the regulatory part think that something is in place to control the actions of the miners. But later on that, irrespective of the existing laws, we are still seeing a lot of environmental degradation. We went to the sites. We realized a lot of things that are quite different from what I saw there is a lot to be done. Possibly, that mining company is doing something good, but other mining companies should emulate it and also do the same, where they're doing the mining. And as a result, you will get, you can bear with me that we say we have over 900 abandoned mining sites. What do we see on those abandoned mining sites? There are ditches that harbor water. This water is a breeding place for mosquitoes, but sometimes children find themselves swimming in that water. And sometimes during dry season, you may even see some families resorting to that water as a source of water for domestic use. What does it mean? It means a lot of waterborne diseases. It means a lot of malaria, and so many other things. But to mention that even what we call heavy metals that could find themselves downstream within the rivers get polluted with those heavy metals. The vegetables we eat from there could be having those metals. Research has not been taken yet, but we need to warn ourselves about how those heavy metals can find their way into our food systems, and therefore a health hazard is coming in. And therefore I think that within this week, I have been very happy to hear that everybody who is talking comes back to environmental concerns. And environmental concerns are very key. If we are going to align mining with the challenges of climate change, we've got to ensure that it is one of the industries, one of the sectors that are going to contribute to our national economy, but when actually preserving our environment and equally putting in what I can say social safety nets that can support the communities to ensure that their livelihoods are well taken care of. I don't know how much time you had given me. So
you just need to, yeah, I know you've got passion, but just tell us about climate change and how mining is contributing. You just talked about it, and how companies position themselves in the phase where the world is facing climate change issues. And how do we position ourselves? How would you advise us from a civil society perspective?
We are advocating for climate adaptation strategies in mining processes, which means that we need to do resilient infrastructure development. Okay. We need to embark on disaster risk reduction. We need to embark on ecosystems restoration and protection.
Great.
But we are equally advocating for sustainable mining practices, where we need to encourage low impact and green technologies in the mining processes so that we emit the greenhouse gas emissions that are supposed to be mitigated. Mm-hmm. We need to support circular economy in mining. I've been hearing people talking about value addition. This value addition should actually work around a circular economy so that what they get out, that is not what they wanted, could also be used for another thing. So the circular economy process can bring us to that level. And I think doing that, it could help to ensure that mining responds to the issues of climate change within this time of climate change era.
Thank you so much. This year's theme resonates more on community development, and on the stage we have somebody from LODA, and LODA is local administrative entities, and we know that much of the work that you do is actually looking for funds, if I would say, that would go back to communities. And my question is like this. We know there is a national revenue sharing scheme that was put in place, and I'm sure you're on top of that, ensuring that communities receive or get something out of what was generated from their mining sites. And from RODA perspective, how is RODA collaborating with government institutions to ensure the voices of people are met, the needs of people are met through that scheme that was put in place?
Thank you, moderator. As you're asking, RODA is supporting local government in planning and project implementation. And when it comes to mining activities, there is a cabinet resolution done on 13th September 2016, saying that the revenues from mining site should contribute in developing surrounding community, and RODA, in collaboration with Minecofin, we are every fiscal year planning try to implement that resolution. And when we do budget distribution to district, specifically for the district where there is mining site, we provide additional budget specifically to implement the project provided by citizen living near the mining site. And the citizen there should know that some projects are implemented, the funding is from the revenue from the mining site. I picked one fiscal year as example, the fiscal year planning for 2021-2022. We have funded 4 projects in Ngororero. The 3 projects were for suspend the bridges. Those projects was provided by citizens to the district, and in Rutsiro, we supported the 2 projects of radical terraces. In Rulindo, also in that fiscal year, we supported the construction of 50 hectares of radical terraces. Also, we supported some projects in Gatsibo, in Burera, and so on. That example is just to show those projects should be social projects that can boost lifestyle of the surrounding community. That's what we try to do in collaboration with Minecofin and the local government, just to show the community living near the mining site that the mining activities has the benefit for them and showing their impact. For them to honor the activities and provide their just owning the activities there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'll come back to you on how citizens actually participate in deciding what projects they need, rather than maybe us thinking we just know what they need. But before that, we go back to the umbrella of mining. The association, I know association has been doing a lot of work, and when we talk of mining, of course, we're not going away from the association. So we've been hearing from all the people that spoke, just spoke about mining is polluting, mining is doing so and so. And as the umbrella or the chamber of mines in this country, what practices or what measures is the association putting in place to just push their stakeholders in ensuring the compliance with regards to environmental protection and the other ESG-related matters?
Thank you very much, moderator. Once again, I would like to wish you all a very good International Mining Day. I am having a heart of one of the operators in the mining sector, but also I am a professional geoscientist. So before I answer to your question, I would like to come back to the reason why we are holding this, having this discussion. As you know, in the history of Earth, our planet is about 4.5 to 5 billion years old. And now it's hosting around 80 billion people. So this is the first time the planet is hosting so many people. So the planet is under heavy pressure because of the inhabitants. So people, they need more resources. And to get more resources, you get resources from the planet. Whether we are mining, whether we are cutting trees, whether we are fishing. So we need huge resources to feed, to maintain around 80 billion people on the globe. And this has conducted us to more mining practices. And human beings have not been on the planet for long. It's only around 2 million years for Dr. Dean will rectify if I'm wrong, but it's more or less 2 million years. But the Earth itself is there for 5 billion years. So as we are having more people, we need to see, to strategize how we keep the planet, how we keep the people, and how we make the profits out of the resources the planet is having. So considering that, on the side of Rwanda Mining Association, it's a tough job when we have to look for resources to feed our citizens and feed ourselves and keep our interests, and also safeguard the environment. We are having an industry which is 80% dominated by artisanal and small-scale mining. And this is a devastating, the way we are mining, it's a problem. And one of the practices we are trying to put in place, and we do recommend, is to professionalize mining operations. We were talking last week about the underground mining. And if you go to Rutongo, for example, people have been mining for 100 years almost. But if you see the mountains, the amount of damage which has been caused, and the amount of minerals we've extracted, so you can compare and see what's happening. And we need to reinforce that, so that we change the method of mining. And we are trying to speak to people, to make awareness, to tell them that they can't damage environment. This is one of the measures we are taking, professionalization, underground mining where it's possible. And also we recommend proper processing systems and abandon reverse sluicing, because reverse sluicing is creating silicitation, and you got so many sand in the rivers, so we are destroying ecosystems. And this has to stop, and we have to create awareness on really what is required. The environmental impact assessment, the environmental management plans, they have to be set up clearly and put in place. So this on the measures to be taken to safeguard the environment, we are trying to work jointly with RMB, which is very greater, to conduct some sort of joint inspections and also to advise. We are more working on advising our people, our mining communities, how to safeguard the environment and the importance of safeguard the environment. And secondly, the recruitment of specialists in environment. In the past, people didn't know, myself included, the advantage of safeguarding environment. Maybe it's because of the impact of the humans on the globe, the environment was not significant. But now it is very significant. And it is important to stick on environmentalists who will guide us on the way to progress. We need also to work with local community, with NGOs, also intergovernment organizations, so that we could rehabilitate the projects, the special open cast for which the projects have been exhausted. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Then before I come back to Rema, let me hear from my friend Ignacio from Golden Tree. And we know that mining generates wastes. And wastes which could be detrimental to environment and ecosystems. And yet there is probably opportunities out of the so-called wastes. So would you please share with us your experience and how probably other companies could maybe start doing what you're trying to do?
Thank you so much. I think the first thing, before I answer your question, I would like to say I'm very happy to be here because many of the things that were discussed today here and the points were addressed, like, for example, investments, rehabilitation, sustainability, added value. All these things is what we are coming here to do in Rwanda. So ourselves, we are in Muhanga, in the industrial zone. We are not miners, so I think our name is very confusing. Also, we don't do gold. Actually, what we do, we are processors. So in Muhanga Industrial Zone, we are building a processing facility for tailings. So what we try to do, first of all, I mean, we have like 3 main points we work on. The first thing is we go to the sites, and the sites could be the mines, could be abandoned mines, could be areas that needs rehabilitation. And we study what is there and what has to be done from the environmental point of view. So this we discuss with the stakeholders, I mean, we discuss with the owners of the mines, we discuss with the community, and then we make a plan, we make a rehabilitation plan, and well, we intend to take action. So the second point that we do, we discuss with the local communities, because as we were talking here today, at the end of the day, it is on their favor, it's on their benefit. So we try to involve the local community into our plans. So it is not only what to do with the tailings or how to, let's say, guide the water or the paths that needs to be prepared. It is also to involve the people that are working maybe as a local workers. Why not to help them to create cooperatives so that they can be integrated into the real economy, right? So this is our second point. And the third point, it happens in our facility. Our facility, it's a pilot project, and it works like a laboratory of ideas. So one of the points that we were addressing here today, it is about added value. But what does added value means? Everybody maybe is thinking, okay, why don't we refine the coltan and we convert it into tantalum and niobium? But I think things are more simple than that, because to come to that, we need a lot of expertise that maybe we don't have in Rwanda. But we can do simple things. We were talking here about construction material. Yeah, that's one point that can be easily done here locally. So in our case, we are seated in an industrial area, and nearby us we have a cement factory and we have a tiles factory. So we are talking to them because we can do many things together. I mean, in our processing facility, first, of course, we remove the minerals, but then we also have sand that can be used for construction. We also produce feldspar. We also can produce kaolin. There are many things that can be produced and not necessarily needs to be very expensive from the processing point of view. So this is our, let's say, our project for 2025, because we will be commissioned in the first quarter of the next year. And I ask you to please help us a lot, because we will be working together to solve your issues with the tailings and also to give added value. So we will work for many years.
Great, thank you so much. Going back to Rema, Martin, you just talked about disclosure and engaging with affected parties. And I know that as an implementing agency, you also sometimes approve the reports or the audits. And how do you collaborate with companies in as far as making sure that the affected communities actually know what is in their reports? These are very technical reports, which in most cases are very difficult to interpret. Do you also liaise with companies to make sure that they bring out what was studied back to the communities?
Yeah, thank you, moderator. So, the environmental and social impact assessment report, the environmental and social audit report, all have the part of the public consultation. So this part is, if it is missing, already the report is really not qualified for approval. So the consultation includes to really involve, to engage the owners of the project, the local community, the local authorities, to really to start really involving them on the project and how it is sensitive, what is the main key issues that they are seeing that this project is going to bring. And also, they propose how the things can be addressed. So those parts, they are the part of the public consultation are really based to develop the environmental management plans. But maybe we can't really also forget that maybe our expert, our professional specialists, because they are the one who have that expertise to conduct those studies, they are sometimes not explaining to the MDs, to the owners of the project, what is really included in the report. Here is where we need, like there is Rwanda Mining Board, there is REMA. We need that really, if you are conducting this study, please, as the Prime Minister stated, read what is included in your report. Don't take as it's a requirement from Rwanda Mining Board maybe to get a certificate, the mining certificate. But there is a lot of things you need to lead well, understand, and also plan from your plans how you will implement that. And what we have did, so we put like a condition of approval. Condition of approval is a summary of the total report. We have a report of 200 pages, so people can't read that, but you have only 2 pages, which starts which is
summary.
attached to the certificate, the environmental certificate, stating the main and the key issues you need to take care of. So, but people, maybe it is not in our culture, even if the contract, the bank contract, most of the people, they are not reading the loan contract, which may cause you some financial issues. So we advocates, we are willing to request the MDs here, the owners of the company, please read your environmental and social compliance report, specifically read the condition for approval, because it's really summarizing all what is included in the report. Yeah.
Do you see a steady progress, or it is?
Yeah, okay. So we need to appreciate what we really have achieved, because for me, specifically, I start in the Environmental and Enforcement Department in 2014. It was terrible. Even if those report was not there, there is no certificate, environmental certificate. People, they only, so we are always in searching and searching for the mining. But today, now we have really the good regulation and policy. So, and also all institutions have started to understand, also to really to focus on the implementation and the enforcement of the regulation. I can't say that now we have achieved our goal, but there is a progress, and we are always seeking the support from all institutions, from our partners, mining partners, in also compliance, because they can also be involved in the regular inspection. Because, as my colleague said, here we watched the good video. That's the best mining you have. But if you see the steep slope of the hill, they are saying that they have planted the trees. It's still a challenge, because before you plant the tree, you need maybe to see how you can reduce that sharpened slope. You do the terraces and you plant. Also, sometimes we found the mining, we have did our environmental studies. We have complied. But if you reach to the field, we still have some challenges that they need to address. You see that the plant they have planted, now one rain, during the heavy rain, it's the rain washing all the trees, because the good practice of how we need to plant those trees to protect those slopes then was not really taken into consideration. Maybe this comes to the budget, because they realize the issue of budget. I know the cost for rehabilitation is huge, but when it comes later, if it is in your plan, it is not a burden to the implementer. So in the reports, these environmental reports, each action has the cost, but most of our partners, because now there is a policy in mining to deposit the certain amount of rehabilitation. Now they start saying, no, don't put this amount, please reduce, so that I can deposit a few amount of money. So now, if you are doing like that, when it reaches in terms of rehabilitation, it will be hard for you. But if you are planning with a realistic cost, it will be easy, because it will be included in your daily activity, and the rehabilitation will be easy for you. Yeah.
Sure. I think we should abacukuzi twishimire. Mwumvishije ko na REMA isigaye ibona ko dukora akazi neza. Urugendo ruracyari rurerure ariko it looks like we're coming up and sitting on the same table. My last question to Rhoda is just, you talked about some community projects which through that earmarked funds to the district is dedicated to those projects. And do citizens really participate, and do you know that they are actually born from the citizens to ensure the maximum use efficient use of this money or these funds to meeting their needs?
Thank you again, moderator. Actually, not necessarily for those few specific projects related to 10% of revenues coming from mining site, but also during the period of planning phase, the general national planning at local government level, for example, this last November was called the month of citizen participation in planning, local government planning. We concluded the month on the 30th in Umuganda by again explaining, asking to community citizens if they participated, they provided ideas, they talk about their needs, what they want to be implemented in their surrounding community. And in that framework, that is the general framework how things is being done, just to show how citizens are involved in the planning and are informed and they are aware, all of them. And in that perspective, local government explained that if there is mining activities there, local government explained to community that they will have additional small fund to help them to boost their lives, just to increase their ownership, the awareness about mining activities, and they know which project among many projects they proposed, which one will be implemented in the framework of the revenues related to mining activities. Normally, many of them are social projects, like giving them water access when there is no water around there, maybe rehabilitating health center if there is some issues of health center, maybe construct a health post, let's say rehabilitate school for their children, and more of the project are the project of environment resilience, planting trees, construction of radical terraces to increase crops production for their lives, kind of project, and they know that they have some few additional budget for that in that perspective.
Great.
That is the way the things are being done. Thanks.
So citizens participate actually in the planning, which is really great.
Yes.
My last question to you for Stay is, again, you're a passionate civil society activist, and with regards to climate change, there's capacity building needs, for example, especially to the communities who most of the times are not really aware of all these kind of issues and impacts. What is your network doing in terms of building community resilience and understanding of the issues?
One thing that we are doing is creating awareness and educating the communities to ensure that they get the knowledge and the skills of adapting to climate change challenges that are here to stay, by the way. When I say they are here to stay, it's because we contribute in significant amount of greenhouse gas emissions, but yet we suffer the most, and we are at the front line of climate change effects. And the only thing you have to do as communities to ensure that we build our resilience and are able to adapt to these challenges so that whenever they come, we are able to resist. So one thing is awareness raising and education. But another thing is doing advocacy work to ensure that we are able to raise resources for the communities to be able to practice those climate actions that can help them to adapt to those challenges. And another thing is trying to ensure that whatever activities people are doing are actually responding positively to environmental challenges. I am very happy to note that at least this time in this house today, I even hear the Mining Association itself talking about adhering to principles of environmental protection, which is a very positive thing.
Good.
When you see the regulator talking about it, you see the practitioner talking about it, then you feel that at least everybody is aware that this is something that we cannot do away with.
Great.
Another thing is that we need to diversify livelihoods. I think you've time and again seen that you will visit mining families that have been mining over time. The father has been mining, the grandfather has been mining, but you see perpetual poverty that links around those communities. And I think one thing you are doing now is even to open up and say, diversify livelihoods, try to see other sources of income that can come your way, that can support you into raising your way of life. But also another thing is trying to promote climate resilient agriculture practices. Climate resilient in the sense that they are going to be able to respond to the challenges of climate change, come floods, come landslides, come prolonged droughts, they're able to make some bit of resistance.
Great.
But I was also talking about advocating for the social safety nets. In the morning, people were talking about access to resources, access to finance. The communities need to have access to finance. We are talking about corporate social responsibility. The corporates that are in the mining sector need to do something around the communities where they are doing their work. But we have also seen that mining doesn't stop on exploitation. Even the companies who are dealing with trading should equally be able to share part of their revenue back to the communities where this mining is taking place.
Sure.
I think each and every other actor within the sector has to come and think about this, but we also need to think about insurance. How are these people insured? And also, how can they access other forms of skills that can drive them out of poverty? Could be another thing that people can think about.
Right.
And therefore, I think it's a holistic nature that all stakeholders need to find a way. We are talking about over 900 abandoned mining sites. And one thing I think we need to do critically in the House to think about is how do we get those abandoned mining sites rehabilitated?
Great.
We need to raise resources, we need to do advocacy, we need to look around and see how these mining sites should be rehabilitated to ensure that our ecosystem comes back into the original form that it was before.
I think we don't have much time left, but maybe over to you, Leonidas. Are we continuing to mine, or are we going to stop mining? How do you see it? How do you see the future of this sector?
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. We can't stop mining. As I said before, and even in my speech, we have to professionalize. We have to change the way we are mining. You think if you go to Australia, you see people, they are mining, but you've got maybe 100 people who are operating in underground mining, and everybody has got his machines. So the machines are working, and you work underground. Most of the resources are not really on the ground. Most of the resources are deep underneath. And this is what we have to do. We have to assess the resources, to know the character of the deposit. One of the characteristics, of mineral deposits, or what is guiding a mining operation, is mostly exploration. We talked about it. So if you do your proper field reconnaissance survey, you do your proper geological exploration, you do properly your deposit analysis. It's what we call for C's of the deposit: the character of the deposit, the continuity of the deposit, the calculation, how much oil resource you've got in the ground. So you come to a resource, you come to a reserve, then you come to your confident. How are you confident on the reserves you've got? When you get all these parameters, you come to know, how do I mine this? And how do I mine it professionally? You can also compute how much damage you're going to do to the environment. So you have to minimize the impact of mining on the area surrounding the deposit. But if you do one hole here and another hole there, and one up, one down, left, right, then the whole mountain is full of holes, and it's not working. My understanding, we have all to come together. And this is why we are trying to see the geoscientists. There are so many now. Professor Dean, who is on the front line to train the students for mining. So we get the resource, assessment from those people. In the past, we were very few people. Now we've got so many geologists on the ground. We've got so many environmentalists on the ground. So we are not alone. It's a matter of assessing what do we mine, how do we mine it, how much do we damage, and how do we repair it. So if we get an upfront plan, we can't stop mining. Otherwise, mining should have stopped a long time ago, and it was not the case. So let us work together. Let us put our knowledge, our heads together. We see what is required to safeguard the environment. Of course, Rwanda is a bit particular because I've been a slope analyzer for the Food and Agriculture Organization, where I was quite a young engineer. Rwanda is a very hill, it's 1,000 hills. And the natural erosion itself is a road. So apart from mining, we have also to see how to protect the environment. Agricultural-wise, we have to do really something. The quarry is a problem because an inventory has done recently, and last week we was on a seminar. So we need 26 billion Rwandan francs to rehabilitate the 984 mining sites that he has been talking about. But quarries have been contributing to a lot of damage because if you are mining a quartz site, you just mine a quartz site. But you need a plan. How do you extract it? How is that ore body, if we call it an ore body, if it's a gang, because you are using it for building a construction. So, but you can't just come and cut and dig. You need a plan. How you're going to mine, either it's a quartz site or it's an ore body, and how do you rehabilitate it? How do you bring back the environment you've damaged? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're going to continue mining. Your last few words, resource efficiency. Your last comment, just to end this session. What would you have to say?
Let me try to be very brief. I think everybody here in this room will like the progress, and we are very much talking about environment. And for me, there are two things clear. Everything either comes from farming or it comes from mining. See this room, for example, these clothes is farming, and this bottle is mining. So we cannot stop mining. Coming to your question, I mean, mining, we must do mining. So, but we have to do mining with responsibility. So, and my message here is mining and responsibility, and we also need to find solutions for the problems that we have. So, and that's what we do. Our contribution with our small project is not the solution, obviously, but it helps to contribute to the final solution. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Dear participants, join me, appreciate the panelists who just shared their insights from REMA, LODA, RCCD, and RMA, and Golden Tree. Thank you so much. I think we can talk and talk and talk, but the good thing is everybody's on track talking about responsible mining. With that, I just declare that we just end this panel because of time. Maybe we can continue networking sessions later and dive into more details. If you have a question, please keep it. You can liaise with them after this session. Thank you so much.